Hi everybody, I'm Sheree from the library, and in today's video I want to tell you about some of my favorite books of 2021. So it's sort of a best of all last year's books. I've talked to a lot of you before about the awards that are given out every year. They'll be coming out next week. Remember, the Caldecott Award is for the best illustrations in a kid's book. The Newbery is given to the best writing in a children's book, and there are so many more. The best audio book for kids, the best African American author, the best Latinx American author. So there are so many great awards that are given. I'm not necessarily going to do the very best of in my presentation, but I want to tell you about some of my favorite books. And let's start with the picture books. My number one favorite book this year was What the Rhodes Said. Now, I don't have the book because I had to return mine so somebody else can borrow it, but it is a fantastic book about a kid who's setting out on an adventure and is a little nervous and a little scared, and they don't know which way to go and they don't know what to choose next. And the road keeps asking them questions and encouraging them to keep looking ahead and to keep trying. So I love the story. I love the illustrations, What the Rhodes Said. This is Have You Ever Seen a Flower? And I think this is a really strong contender for Best Picture Book, because when I show you, this is just the opening pages of the book, not even where the story starts. Look at some of these illustrations. It is all done with pencils, and it goes from black and white to amazing colors when it asks, have you ever seen a flower, smelled a flower, have you ever really looked at a flower? And it goes further and further into that question, and it's so beautiful. I would hang it on the wall. This is Watercress, another incredibly beautiful book. I think it's got some good chances for a Caldecott too. And it's about a little girl whose family is Asian American, and they love watercress because it's something her parents used to eat when they were little kids, and when they see it by the side of the road, they pull over to start harvesting some to eat it. And while this little girl does not think that is a good idea, in the end, she realizes that even though her family may eat some things that are different from a lot of her friends, they might be amazing. There she is at the table, not loving it too much. Now, if you're looking for an incredibly funny book, you might want to go with I Don't Want to Read This Book. I think that pretty much says it all. The back says, why would I read this book? Now, you got to know when you open this up, it's going to be a little bit silly. And it's all about how they don't want to read the book because it's full of words, 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 words. This book cracked me up. Before you know it, you will have read the book. You will be laughing so hard, you will want to read it again. And I've read many times, speaking of reading it, this is Charisses Big Voice. Now, this is a book that in our library we have in box books. Remember, that's a book that'll read the story to you. This is the true story about one of the first Native American women to go to Congress. She lives in Kansas, and it tells about how she grew up and the struggles that she had, and she is currently in the House of Representatives today. And Charisse was always accused of being a little loud and having a little too much to say, but now that's one of the reasons she's achieved this amazing position. So that's Charisses Big Voice. Now, this is Was. I don't know if you can see this, it's kind of shiny, but this whole book is about things that are one thing and then turn into something else. For instance, it says, spilling down, this rain is. Look how beautiful that picture is of the rain coming down. And then the next page says was. Because what was rain is now a puddle. And again, pictures are gorgeous in this book, easy and simple to read. A wonderful story is Milo Imagines the World. Milo and his sister live in the city of New York, and they get on the bus one day, and Milo loves to draw, and he starts drawing a lot of the different people that he sees on the bus. And when he starts drawing them, he starts to imagine where they came from, what their story is, why they're on the bus today. And some of the things that Milo sees kind of puzzle him or make him a little concerned, but some of the things that he sees are very joyful and happy. So it's sort of Milo's trip on the bus, and if you like to draw, you love a good story or wonderful illustrations, this is a great book for you. This is one of my favorite picture books of this year, Wishes, because it is so gorgeous and beautiful. This is another one I wish I could just, have the pages out all the time. And it's about a little girl who is born in a country where things are very, very hard for her family. And they want to come to another country, but that trip is also going to be very hard. And it's sort of like what happens when her family leaves in the night and they are on a boat to try to get to a better place to live. And each picture tells you so much about what everybody's feeling. You can tell that this page is about a very scary night, very hard things are happening. The passengers are very worried they're not going to be safe. Wonderful story, beautiful pictures. Yes and No is a book by Alicia Cooper, and she has written so many cool books. Starts out, it's about a cat and a dog who do not get along at all, and they are causing all kinds of problems in the house when their owner says, you have got to find a way to work this out. And she puts them out in the yard together, and eventually they go on an adventure together. When they're out on their own adventure, all the words stop because there's no people to talk about it, but the pictures tell you what's starting to happen as these two become friends. Love everything about it. Born on the Water, the 1619 Project is a story of not only African American history in this country. Next month, February, is Black History Month, so this is a wonderful book to read for that. But it goes all the way back to when many, many African Americans' roots were in Africa, in wonderful, strong, vibrant communities. What happened to them when they were forcibly taken from their land and enslaved in the United States, all the way through to the present. And the initial story is set up because a kid at school is asked to trace their family's history. And so this is the story of their African American heritage, both in Africa and when they came to the United States. And last but not least, this is It Fell from the Sky. Now, this is by the Fan Brothers, and everything they do is amazing and incredible. I have brought you their books over the years. Something incredible has fallen into the garden, and none of the other creatures are quite sure what it is or what to do with it or how to use it. And there's a lot of different ideas, and there's a lot of different things people try. Needless to say, the spider has a lot to say about this. And in the end, there's some other pretty magical things that fall from the sky. Beautiful book, great story. These are just some of my favorite picture books this year. I hope you find something that you love. Watch for an announcement who the real award winners are on the January 24th. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.